Have you ever noticed how a narcissist can make a simple sentence feel like a courtroom? You say, "That hurt me," and they hear, "attack." They don't process truth, they process status. So they do what they always do: scramble the scene, rewrite the script, drag in old mistakes, old texts, old tone, old nonsense. And you try to be fair. You try to explain. You try to prove you're not crazy. That's the hook. That's the leash. Because the moment you start proving, you're already losing. No, listen. You can't logic someone who's not chasing truth. They're chasing control. Control of your mood, your attention, your self-image. And when you stay calm, when you speak with zero emotional donation, they don't know where to land. They start spinning because you just removed their favorite toy, your reaction. And it looks innocent at first, doesn't it? A question, a concern, a comment, and then, you're on trial. They'll say, "I'm just being honest," while they poison the room. They'll say, "Calm down," and poke you harder. They'll say, "You're overreacting," while they collect your reactions like trophies. Here's the trick. They don't want to win. They want space in your mind. Once you're explaining, you're trapped in their frame. And if you walk away, they chase, then pretend they never cared. So your goal is not revenge. Your goal is precision. You become a wall with a mirror on it. In this video, How to Outsmart a Narcissist, you will finally understand the pattern, the bait, and the calm countermove that makes their mask slip. You will watch to the last second. Good. If you can't right now, save this video. Come back when you're ready. No excuses, no half listening. The final seconds are the key. As usual, close your eyes and focus with me. First, here's the rule nobody wants to admit. A narcissist doesn't argue to discover reality. They argue to edit your reality. So calmly outsmarting them is not about having better insults. It's about refusing to enter the fake courtroom at all. Let me make it real. You're at dinner. You say something simple. "I felt ignored today." They tilt their head, smile like it's cute, and go, "Ignored? Wow, so I'm a monster now?" And if you rush to clarify, "No, I didn't mean," they got you. Because now you're defending a crime you never committed. Another one. They arrive late, no apology, then say, "You're always dramatic about time." And you start listing facts, minutes, messages, receipts. That's when you lose. Not because your facts are wrong, but because you accepted their frame. You are the problem that must be explained. So first is this: stop answering the accusation, answer the pattern. And you do it with a strange kind of calm that feels almost disrespectful. Not loud, not cold, just precise. Example, they say, "Why are you attacking me?" You say, "I'm not doing this courtroom thing." Then you shut up. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable. You'll want to fill the silence. You'll want to prove you're good. That urge, that's the leash tightening. Here's the part most people miss. The narcissist is listening for emotional donation. If you donate fear, they escalate. If you donate anger, they perform innocence. If you donate guilt, they become holy. So you donate nothing. I know, it sounds simple. It's not. Because they have scripts. They'll suddenly cry, or they'll joke, or they'll bring up your past like a weapon. And your brain will go, wait, maybe I am the bad one. That's the hypnosis. And if you skip this part, you'll keep feeding them for years, thinking you're being mature. Don't do that. Stay until the end, because the last seconds show the one calm sentence that collapses their whole game without you looking cruel. If you blink, you miss it. Picture a work meeting. You say, "Can we stay on topic?" They laugh. "Oh, look, the control freak is back." You feel the heat in your chest. You want to snap, but you don't. You breathe. And you answer like this. Not a label, a boundary. Then silence. That silence forces them to either respect it or expose themselves by pushing harder. Either way, you get information, not drama. And information is how you win. Now, keep listening. The next move is where they panic and pretend they don't. Second, you stop explaining and start naming. Not naming them, not diagnosing, not saying the N-word like it's a weapon. No, you name the move, the tactic, the pattern. Like a scientist watching a rat hit the same lever. Because the narcissist's favorite magic trick is confusion. If you're confused, you're controllable. Real life example. They say, "I never said that." You know they did. You remember the exact sentence. Your hands start sweating. You want to prove it. But proving it is the trap, because now you're sprinting inside their maze. So instead you go, "That's a rewrite." Then you stop. No debate, no extra words. You just took the pen out of their hand. Another one. They insult you, then hide behind humor. "You're so needy," they laugh. Then, "Relax, I'm joking." And you feel stupid for feeling hurt, so you swallow it. Then later, it explodes. Don't swallow it. Name it. You say, "That was a jab, then a joke cover." And here's the crazy part. You don't say it like you're pleading. You say it like you're documenting weather. They'll test you immediately. They'll roll their eyes. They'll smirk. They'll sigh. You always make everything serious. Good. Let them. Because the moment they can't drag you into defending your tone, the mask starts slipping. They need you emotional. They need you messy. They need you explaining. So if you stay clean, they get bored, then angry, then reckless. And reckless is where they reveal the real wiring. Here's a workplace one. They take credit for your idea, then later say, "We're a team, don't be insecure." Your stomach flips. You want to say, "No, that was mine. I have the email." Stop. Don't hand them a wrestling match. You say, "That's credit shifting." Then you ask one calm question. One. And this is important. 1. Should I send the recap email with the original source? Watch their face. Watch the micro panic, the tiny pause before they answer. That pause tells you everything. And if you're thinking, this feels too simple, yeah, that's because you've been trained to perform. They trained you to overtalk, over-justify, over-prove. So your new weapon is boring clarity. Stay with me, because in a minute, I'm going to show you the calm response that makes them chase you for an argument, and you won't give it to them. And when they can't get that argument, they make a mistake. That mistake is the doorway. 3rd, you learn the calm delay. Not silence as fear, silence as a weaponized pause. Because narcissists don't just want answers, they want instant access, instant emotion, instant compliance. So when you delay calmly, you deny them the hit. Real example. They text, "We need to talk now." Your heart jumps. You start typing a paragraph, then delete, then type again. And that jittery urgency, that's what they feed on. So you do something that feels almost illegal. You slow down. You reply, "I'm available in an hour." Then you stop. No reason, no apology, no "sorry, I'm busy." Watch what happens. They'll poke again. "Why are you ignoring me?" Or they'll bait, "Fine, I guess you don't care." They're trying to pull you back into the emergency they invented. Here's the trick. Don't fight the content. Match the tempo. You answer, "I saw your message." That's it. Short, clean, dry. Like you're stamping a document. They hate this because it removes their power to set the rhythm. And whoever controls the rhythm, controls the room. Another one, in person. They corner you with a loaded question. "So do you admit you were wrong? Yes or no?" You feel the trap. If you say yes, they own you. If you say no, they call you arrogant. So you delay. You go, "I'm not answering a loaded question." And then, and this is key, you look away for a second like you're thinking. That tiny calm disengage, it breaks their spell. Now they'll escalate. They always do. They'll raise their voice. They'll accuse. They'll perform heartbreak. They want you to panic fix it. Don't. You say, "If you want a real conversation, lower the volume." If they don't, you end it. Not with a speech, with a door. With a sentence, "I'll talk when it's respectful." And you leave. That's not punishment. That's training the system. Because every time you stay, you teach them they can escalate and still get access. And yes, your body will shake the first times. Mine would too. I mean, it's normal. But you'll notice something. The calmer you delay, the more desperate they become to speed you up. Desperation makes them sloppy. Good. So stay with me, because the next move is the one they can't copy. It looks like kindness, but it's actually control. 4th, you stop arguing and start selecting. Because with a narcissist, the real battlefield isn't the topic, it's access. They want unlimited access to your attention, your time, your emotions, like a subscription you never agreed to. So you do the one thing that feels almost rude. You choose what you respond to and what you let die. Real example, they throw 3 things at you at once: You're selfish. You never listen. And by the way, remember that thing you did last year? Your brain goes, wait, which one do I answer first? Exactly. That confusion is the weapon. So you select. You go, I'm responding to one point. Then you pick the cleanest, most objective one. Not the insult, not the bait, not the history dump. You pick the behavior. Like, we can talk about plans. I won't engage name calling. Watch how fast they try to drag you back into the swamp. They'll say, so you're avoiding accountability, or wow, you're so cold. That's the moment you must not over-explain. You say, that's not what I said. Then you repeat your selection. 1 point, 1 lane, 1 topic. They hate lanes. They love chaos. Here's a relationship example. You say, please don't speak to me like that. They reply, oh, so I'm the villain. You're perfect, right? It's a trap designed to force you into defending your character. Don't. You select the behavior again. I'm not discussing who's perfect. I'm discussing your tone. Simple, boring, surgical. And yes, they'll escalate the insult. They'll use that little laugh, that condescending smile. They'll say, you're too sensitive. And your body will want to react. Your jaw tightens, your chest burns, but you don't give them the show. You select the boundary. You say, if it continues, I'm ending this conversation. Then you mean it. No countdown, no bargaining, no pleas, just a consequence you can actually do. And when you follow through once, even once, something changes. They learn you're not a vending machine. Now, quick warning, sometimes they'll suddenly get sweet, like suspiciously sweet. Oh babe, I didn't mean it, you know I love you. That's not peace, that's reset. That's them trying to regain access without accountability. So you select again. Thank you. We can continue when it's respectful. No lecture, no revenge, just calm selection. And if you're thinking, this feels like I'm becoming heartless. No, you're becoming unbuyable. Stay with me, because the next move is the one that makes them reveal themselves in public without you raising your voice. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Fifth, you weaponize calm receipts without looking obsessed. Not screenshots as a fight, but clarity as a firewall. Narcissists thrive in fog, in maybe, in I don't remember, in that's not what happened. So you don't bring drama, you bring structure, real life. They promise, I'll be there at 6. At 7:30 they arrive smiling like nothing happened. And if you mention it, they go, why are you controlling? It was only an hour. So, instinct is to argue the minutes. Don't. You document the pattern. You say, we agreed on 6, you came at 7:30. Then you stop. No story, no insult, no tears. It sounds too simple, but it forces them into a choice. Admit or rewrite. And if they rewrite, I never said 6, you don't panic. You go, I'm writing it down going forward. Agreements in text. That line alone makes them itch because it kills their favorite playground, ambiguity. Work example. They assign you a task, later deny it, then blame you for not being proactive. Your chest gets hot. You want to explode. But you answer like an accountant. Just to confirm, you want X by Friday, correct? If they dodge, you repeat it. same calm. And when they try to shame you, why are you so formal? You say, so we're aligned. That's it. Here's what this does psychologically. It removes the emotional casino. They can't gamble with your memory if you stop playing memory games. They can't gaslight you if you turn the room lights on. Now, they'll try to twist it. They'll say you're keeping score. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you're acting like a lawyer. Good. Let them hate it. Because lawyer is what they call anyone who refuses to be confused. And when you combine calm receipts with boundaries, something weird happens. They start leaking their real intent. They slip. They admit pieces by accident. They test new angles, faster, sloppier. So you watch the tells, the sudden smile, the quick blame shift, the little pause before the lie. You're not looking for proof to win an argument. You're looking for data to decide access. And the most powerful receipt isn't a screenshot. It's you saying calmly, that doesn't work for me, then acting like it. One more realistic scene. They provoke you in front of people, then act innocent. They'll tease you, poke your insecurity. Then, when you react, they go, see, everyone, this is what I deal with. So you don't defend your character. You state the fact calmly to the room. I'm not discussing this publicly. Then you turn back to the topic like nothing happened. That calm refusal makes them look strangely alone. 6th, you use the one-sentence mirror. Not therapy, not lectures, a mirror. Narcissists hate mirrors because mirrors don't argue, they reflect. And reflection is the fastest way to expose a game without raising your voice. Real example, they say, you're lucky I even tolerate you. Your stomach drops. You want to defend yourself, list your value, prove you matter. But that's the old you, auditioning for respect. So you mirror the intent calmly. You say, you're trying to make me feel small. Then you stop. No anger, no sarcasm, just a fact. Watch the glitch. They'll deny it, of course. What? I never said that. Or they'll spin. See, you're always twisting my words. That's fine. The mirror already landed. Another one. They explode, then later act sweet, like it didn't happen. You're my favorite person. I just get emotional. You feel pulled into forgiveness because the sweetness feels like oxygen. But you mirror again. You hurt me, then you reset. No begging, no punishment, just naming the loop. Here's the part that feels crazy. The mirror must be short. If you add a speech, they hijack it. If you add 10 reasons, they pick one word and attack it. So you keep it one sentence, maybe two, like a pin in a balloon. Work example, they joke about your competence in a meeting. Oh, let's hope you don't mess it up again. People laugh politely. Your face burns. You could clap back, but that gives them a scene. So you mirror to the room, calm and clean. That comment was meant to embarrass me. Then you continue the agenda. No drama, no tone battle. And suddenly everyone feels the awkwardness they were trying to ignore. Now, they'll test you harder after a mirror. They'll try to bait rage. They'll accuse you of being cold or too serious. They'll demand an apology for your boundary. And this is where people fold, because the pressure is real. So you use the second mirror. You want me emotional so you can control the story. That line is poison to manipulation, because it tells them, I see the mechanism. And yes, sometimes your voice will shake, like that tiny tremble, you know? That's human. Don't fight it. Just keep the sentence short. Then you choose action. If they respect it, conversation continues. If they escalate, access reduces. That's the whole system. Mirror, then consequence. Calm doesn't mean soft. Calm means you refuse to be edited. Seventh, you master the calm exit without announcing it like a threat. Because narcissists treat conversations like cages. Once you're inside, they keep moving the bars. They don't want resolution. They want endurance. They want you tired enough to surrender. Real example. You say, I don't like being spoken to like that. They reply, there you go again, always the victim. And your brain tries to fix it, to correct them, to prove you're not a victim. That reflex is what keeps you locked in the room. So the calm exit is not a dramatic walkout. It's a clean disengage with one sentence. And then you actually disengage. You say, I'm not continuing this in that tone. Then you stop talking. Not silent as punishment, silent as refusal to feed the machine. They'll push immediately. They'll follow you. They'll text you. They'll raise the voice. Don't you walk away from me. And your nervous system will scream, if I leave, I'll look guilty. That's the trap. They trained you to confuse boundaries with crime. So you keep it boring. You repeat, same calm. I'll talk when it's respectful. Same words, same tempo, no new material. Now watch the escalation ladder. It's almost funny how consistent it is. First they shame you. You're immature. Then they guilt you, so you don't care about us. Then they bait you. Fine, leave, you always do. Then they flip victim. You're hurting me. Then rage. It's the same script wearing different clothes. Relationship example. They accuse you of flirting with someone. You say, that's not true. They say, your tone tells me it is. Now you're arguing tone, and you feel yourself spiraling. So you exit calmly. I'm not defending myself against assumptions. Then you change the channel. You go make tea. You go to another room. You do something physical. Not to punish them, to protect your brain from their storm. Work example. A colleague corners you after a meeting. Everyone thinks you're difficult. You feel heat climb your neck. You want to say, who said that? Name them. But that's the trap again. Chasing ghosts they invented. So you exit. If there's feedback, send it in writing. That sentence is a door. They hate doors. They want open access. And if they mock you, wow, so formal, you respond, correct. Then you stop. No extra explanation. Because the exit works only when you don't decorate it. Here's the part that feels brutal but saves you. You don't negotiate with escalation. If they raise volume, you lower access. If they insult, you end the exchange. If they bait, you refuse the bait. Not with emotion, with policy. A narcissist will test the policy like a thief testing a lock. They jiggle it, they push, they try a new key. So you become consistent. And yes, you might stutter. You might mess a word up. Like, I'm not doing this right now. That's fine. Human. The power is not perfect delivery. The power is the action after the sentence. They'll try to trap you with closure. Just answer one question. One thing then we're done. That's not closure. That's a hook with a pretty name. So you respond, not in this state. Then you leave the hook hanging in the air. And if they switch to sweetness, sudden softness, okay, I'm sorry, don't go. You don't punish it. You don't melt into it. You keep the same calm structure. Thank you. We can talk when it stays respectful. Because the moment you reward a fake apology with instant access, you train them to use apology as a remote control. The calm exit is not drama, it's discipline. It teaches your nervous system a new law. You don't have to stay inside a liar's courtroom just because they keep calling your name. 8th, you stop trying to be understood and start being unmisusable. Because narcissists don't misunderstand you by accident. They misunderstand you on purpose when it benefits them. So the calm strategy isn't to speak clearer, it's to speak cleaner. Real example. You say, I need space tonight. They reply, so you don't love me. And your instinct is to rescue them. No, that's not what I meant. I love you, I just... And now they've turned your boundary into a romance exam. So you become unmisusable. You answer, space means space, not a debate. Short, no emotional padding. Another one, you say, please don't yell. They say, so I'm not allowed to have feelings. That's not confusion, that's conversion. They're converting your boundary into oppression so they can guilt you into dropping it. So you respond clean. Feelings are allowed, yelling is not. Then stop. And yes, it will feel robotic at first, like you're talking to a wall. But that's the point. You're removing the soft parts they grab. Work example. You say, I can't take this on today. They say, wow, must be nice to not care about the team. Your pulse spikes. You want to explain your workload, your stress, your deadlines, but explanations are raw meat. So you become unmisusable. I'm at capacity. If it's urgent, prioritize with the manager. That line doesn't invite shame. It redirects to structure. Narcissists hate structure because structure has witnesses. Structure creates records, timelines, accountability. They prefer vibes because vibes can be rewritten. Now watch the predictable move. They try to make you prove you're not selfish. They'll say, after everything I've done for you, or no one else would put up with you, or you're just like your father/mother. That's the guilt hammer. They don't swing it because it's true. They swing it because it works. So your response becomes a policy statement, not a defense. I'm not trading respect for guilt. Or I'm not making decisions under pressure. Or I'm not discussing this when you're insulting me. Simple sentences that can't be twisted without sounding insane. And here's the crazy part. When you stop trying to be understood, you start seeing them clearer. Because you're not busy performing, you're observing. You'll notice how they only misunderstand your boundaries, not your compliments. You'll notice how they remember details that benefit them and forget details that limit them. You'll notice how quickly they shift from sweet to cruel when access is threatened. That shift isn't mood, it's strategy. So you practice the clean phrase with a calm tone, even if you stumble a bit. I'm not doing this conversation like that. That's fine. The power is not in sounding perfect. The power is in not feeding the rewrite. And if they keep twisting, you do something that feels almost disrespectfully calm. You repeat the same sentence word for word. No new information, no new emotions. Because repetition kills manipulation. Manipulation needs movement. You become still. Example, they say, "So I'm the villain." You say, "I'm discussing behavior, not identity." They say, "You're calling me abusive." You say, "I'm discussing behavior, not identity." They say, "You're impossible." You say, "I'm discussing behavior, not identity." And then they realize there's no door into your nervous system. Being unmisusable is not being cold. It's being unclippable. So they can't attach their story to your words anymore. Ninth, you learn the calm question that turns their manipulation into self-exposure. Because narcissists love statements. Statements are walls they can paint. Questions are mirrors with lights. A good question forces them to choose a lane, and when they hate lanes, they reveal themselves by trying to escape. Real example. They say, "You're too sensitive." Your old reflex is to defend your sensitivity, explain your past, justify your feelings. So instead you ask calmly, "What outcome do you want from saying that?" Not angry, not sarcastic, just curious. Watch the freeze, because now they have to admit the goal. And the goal is usually control, shame, or silence. They'll try to dodge. "Oh my God, you're analyzing everything." So you ask again, same calm. "What outcome do you want?" No extra words, no emotional padding. Relationship example. They accuse you. "You don't care about me." You could say, "Yes, I do," and get dragged into a treadmill. So you ask, "What would caring look like specifically?" Specificity is poison to vague accusation, because vague accusation is how they keep moving the target. Then they get dramatic. "If you loved me, you'd just know." They want magic, not clarity, because magic can't be measured. So you stay calm and ask, "Do you want a partner or do you want a mind reader?" And you let the silence sit like a weight. Work example. They say, "Everyone agrees you're difficult." Old you, panic, defend, beg for names. New you, calm question. Who is everyone? Or even better, what is the specific behavior you want changed? Now they either provide something real or they reveal it was a smoke bomb. And when they try to turn your question into an attack, "Why are you interrogating me?" you ask, "Is it hard to answer because it isn't true?" Not as a fight, as a test. A test that often makes them cough up a new story. And when they switch stories too fast, that's data. Now, a narcissist's favorite escape is emotion theater. They'll sigh, eye roll, laugh, storm off, cry, anything to avoid clarity. So you don't chase the theater. You stay on the question like a needle on a record. Example, they say, "You're selfish." You ask, "What did I do that was selfish?" They answer with vibes. "You always, you never." You ask, "What did I do specifically?" That specifically is a blade. It cuts through fog. And here's the part people fail. They ask the question, then they fill the silence. They get nervous and start talking. Don't. Ask. Stop. Breathe. Let them squirm. Because squirming reveals motives. If they answer honestly, good, you have reality. If they rage, good, you found the control addiction. If they mock, good, you found contempt. If they play victim, good, you found the guilt engine. And yes, sometimes your voice will trip a little, like, what outcome do you want? That's fine, it's real. Keep the calm. When they finally answer with something like, I just want you to stop acting like this, you respond with the second calm question. What does like this mean in behavior? Because like this is how they erase your boundaries. You force it back into language. And when they can't, when they keep circling, dodging, changing topics, that's not intelligence. That's evasion. That's the mask slipping. A calm question is not about winning. It's about making the game visible. Once it's visible, it stops being hypnotic. 10th, you stop reacting to their words and start tracking their incentives. Because a narcissist's language is just decoration. The real message is always, how do I keep control without paying a price? So you don't listen like a lover, you listen like an investigator. Real example, they say, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology. That's a refund request for your emotions. It means keep the pain, just stop talking about it. So you track the incentive. They want the conflict to end without accountability. And you respond with calm structure. Are you taking responsibility or are you dismissing it? Short, direct, no drama. They'll try to escape. Oh my God, you're so intense. Yeah, intense is what they call clarity. Another one, they suddenly become sweet after being cruel. They bring you a gift, they compliment you, they touch your shoulder like nothing happened. Your brain wants relief, your body wants peace, but track the incentive. Sweetness is being used to erase consequences. So you don't reject the sweetness aggressively, you don't punish it, you just don't let it rewrite reality. You say, thank you. We still need to address what happened. That sentence is a wall with velvet on it. Work example, they sabotage you, then say, I'm just trying to help you grow. You feel embarrassed, angry, you want to explode. So you track the incentive. They want to look superior while making you unstable. You respond like a professional. If it's help, put it in writing as actionable feedback. Now they either become accountable or they reveal it wasn't help at all. If they refuse writing, refuse clarity, refuse specifics, that's not mentorship, that's control. Here's the part that gets nasty. They will try to turn your calm into a crime. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you're robotic. They'll say you're acting superior. That's them trying to guilt you back into being messy, because messy is easier to dominate. So you track the incentive again. They want access to your nervous system, and you answer with a calm label. You're attacking my tone to avoid the topic. Then silence. Now, let's get painfully real. Imagine you catch a contradiction. Yesterday, I love you. Today, I never cared that much. Your mind spins. You try to make the two versions match. That's where people break, because they think inconsistency is an accident. It's not. It's leverage. The incentive is confusion. Confused people negotiate their own boundaries. So you stop chasing consistency. You start tracking payoff. Ask yourself, who benefits if I doubt myself right now? If the answer is them, you slow down. And here's the hardest part. You must accept that you may never get a clean confession. They rarely say, yes, I manipulated you. They just adjust, they pivot, they perform. So you use reality-based actions, not emotional arguments. Example, they demand, answer me right now. You track incentive. Urgency is used to rush you into surrender. So you respond, I'm not deciding under pressure. If they escalate, you're disrespecting me. You don't defend respect. You repeat policy. I'm not deciding under pressure. Same sentence, same tempo. Manipulation needs movement. You become still. And yeah, you might stumble. I'm not deciding under pressure. Fine, human. The power is the refusal, not the performance. Because when you track incentives, you start seeing the whole machine. The bait, the rewrite, the urgency, the sweetness reset, the tone attack. All different costumes for the same hunger. And once you see the hunger, you stop feeding it by accident. 11th. You build the calm consequence and you stop negotiating it. Because a narcissist will debate your boundary forever, but they respect outcomes they can't talk their way out of. Words are cheap in their world. Consequences are expensive. Real example. They interrupt you, mock you, twist you. Then when you finally react, they say, see, you're unstable. So you don't try to look stable by over-explaining. You look stable by being consistent. You say, if you insult me, I end the conversation. That's not a threat, that's a policy. And the policy only becomes real when you enforce it the first time. They'll test you instantly. They'll smirk and throw a small insult like a toe in the water. Oh wow, sensitive again. Your body will want to prove you're not sensitive. Don't. You end it. Quietly. No slam, no speech, just, we'll talk later. And you stop responding. Now, here's the part that makes people fold. The guilt wave. They'll text you 12 times. They'll call you cruel. They'll say you're punishing them. That's not your conscience speaking. That's their control starving. So you keep your policy boring. We can talk when it's respectful. Same sentence, same calm. No new oxygen. Relationship example. They cross a line, then switch to sweetness. Come on, I'm sorry. I love you. You know I didn't mean it. Your brain wants the comfort, but the comfort is how they erase consequences. So you separate feelings from access. I hear you. We still take space after disrespect. Not cold, clean. Work example. A colleague undermines you, then laughs it off. If you can't take a joke, maybe you're not cut out for this. But you don't explode. You go professional. If it happens again, I'll address it with management. Then you stop talking. And if it happens again, you actually do it. Because the calm consequence is not theater, it's math. And yes, they'll call you dramatic for doing the calmest thing possible, following through. Because follow through is the one language they can't gaslight. Now, let's talk about the secret fear under all of this. What if I enforce consequences and they leave? Good. If someone only stays when you accept disrespect, that's not love. That's access addiction. And I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes you'll shake. Sometimes your voice will crack, like, we'll talk later. That's real. Calm isn't the absence of fear. Calm is refusing to obey fear. So the rule is simple. Boundary equals sentence. Consequence equals action. No debates in between. They will try to drag you into one last explanation. They'll say, just answer me. They'll say, so you're really doing this? They'll say, you're heartless. You don't defend your heart, you defend your policy. I'm not continuing this. Then you act. And when you do this consistently, not perfectly, consistently, something cracks. They either adjust because control isn't free anymore, or they escalate and expose themselves because they can't stand limits. Either outcome is clarity. Clarity is what you've been starving for. No more courtroom, no more auditions, no more emotional donations. So, you made it to the end. And that matters more than you think. Because most people don't lose to a narcissist in one big fight. They lose in 1,000 tiny moments where they donate emotion, then call it peace. Not you. If you watched all the way through, you didn't just learn tactics. You trained your nervous system to stay clean under pressure. That's the real upgrade. Because the narcissist's power is not their words, it's your reflex to react. And look, I'm not pretending this is easy. Sometimes your voice will shake. Sometimes you'll fumble a word. I'm not doing this right now. That's human. What changes everything is what you do after the sentence. You enforce the boundary. You reduce access. You stop negotiating your dignity. And if you're dealing with one right now, at work, in family, in a relationship, do not test them with drama. Don't chase closure. Don't chase confessions. Chase clarity. Calm clarity. That's what makes the mask slip. Here's your final reminder. They will try to pull you back with urgency, sweetness, guilt, and blame. If you give them your reaction, they get their drug. If you give them your calm policy, they get exposed. And if you're still wondering, will they change? Sometimes. But not because you begged, not because you explained. They shift only when the price of the game becomes too high. So if they come back with a smile, with gifts, with "I missed you," don't confuse warmth with repair. Ask one calm thing. What's different now? Then watch actions, not poetry. Next video, I'll expose the silent traps they use after you set boundaries. The ones that look like love, like concern, like honesty. Those are the cleanest knives because they don't look like knives. If you want me to build that next breakdown around your situation, type the title you want, word for word, in the comments. And make it bold, make it real. Now, I want you to do something for me. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, because you don't need more motivation. You need a system you can repeat when your emotions are shaking. And yes, if you can think of the perfect next title, drop it below. I read the comments, and I build the next mind game map from what you choose. You didn't outsmart them by becoming cruel. You outsmarted them by becoming unbuyable. And once you're unbuyable, they can't afford you. Now you know.